Welcome to Geeks of the North, a hobby and gaming podcast of the adult province. We're here to paint some miniatures and talk about the hobby, so why don't you sit back, relax, grab a paintbrush, and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to Geeks of the North, your hobby and gaming podcast of the adult province. As always, I am your host, Paul Filio. I forgot my name for a second. And with me is, as always, my beloved co-host, Antoine Bergeron.
Hello, Paul.
How's it going?
It's going well.
It's going okay. I was so busy, trying to think of something witty to say about you that I actually forgot my name for a second. I'm, Paul. Yeah, that's it.
Another reason to stop saying those things.
Yeah, well. Little late in the game for that now, Antoine.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, that doesn't look good at all. Oh. So, having a fun and productive hobby night there, Antoine?
Nope, not at all. I don't have any prep to paint. What I wanted to work on, I forgot to prime, so...
Good.
I'm wondering what to do. I have a bunch of started projects on the table.
I say, don't you have Zoltar, or whatever his name is?
Yeah, he's not primed. That's why.
Oh, yes, that would be inconvenient then.
If he was primed, that's what I would be working on. But I have an Aristia model that I started. There's also the Lawgiver, the 35mm version that started.
That's the Chronopia guy, right? Kind of, sort of ish.
Yeah, Chronopia inspired.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
The not Chronopia stuff. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, Chronicles of the Wayfarer, their new name. Or their official name. It's not new name, it's not the same company. So. Yes. But yeah, there's that guy. I have sculpting stuff I could do, so.
Hey, wait, I have painting hands. I could use this the right. There we go.
The only thing I kind of want to be painting is Zoltar, but the rest is miniature cleaning, and that makes too much noise for the podcast, so I'm kind of stuck. I'm not too sure. What about you?
I am slapping some base coats on Ace of Wraiths.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I intended to work on. I actually intended to work on some Judgment figures tonight, but my daughter had other ideas, so they did not get out and ready in time. I quickly looked around, and I saw I had some primed Pulp City stuff, so now he's getting base coats. And I've just realized now that I was thinking about getting the other sculpt of him from someone, so this is probably pointless, but that's okay. Yep.
And you don't have another one to work on?
They are upstairs, and not where I am. So it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's all for the joy of painting anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just call me Bob frickin' Ross.
Yeah, channel him.
I don't have enough hair left to channel him.
Yeah, especially for people who don't have a camera feed right now, because we're not posting that on YouTube. Paul is facing down, so all I see is the bald spot on the top.
That's right. Way to scar me emotionally, Antoine. Thank you.
I just have to take a picture for that. I don't need words.
Wow. You really are in jerk mode tonight. Jeez. I'll remember that, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Payback's a bitch.
So, what happened hobby-wise on your side this week?
Not much, to be honest. I finished Iron Train, who I think I was working on last show.
Yes.
He is the epitome of speed paint, I guess you could say. Being mostly metallic. I tried to add some black lining to him to separate details and stuff, but he's mostly just silver, so I cannot say he looks super impressive. But really, the sculpt is kind of poor. There's not a whole heck of a lot I could do with him, so that's the way he's staying. And aside from that, I I foolishly decided that I was going to make a few base toppers for Pulp City.
It was not foolish.
I think the foolish part came when I started showing people. But what was supposed to be a quick little project turned into a not-so-quick project. And I now have, 14 base toppers or something.
You would have wanted the variety in the end anyway, so...
I would have what? Sorry?
You would have wanted the variety in the end anyway.
Oh, yeah.
With how many models we're both getting now? I don't see you using only the same 4 or 5 bases all the time.
This is true. They'll be nice to have. And they came out pretty nice, I think. They print up fairly well. They're not a super complex thing to make, so failure rate should be relatively low for most people. Cost to produce was a couple pennies per unit. So it beats the pants off resin bases in terms of costs. And the thing is, for Pulp City, there just wasn't a choice of destroyed urban bases on the market that I could see, anyway, that I could find.
Or there's no modern urban bases.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's true. So you can find them for Infinity, but that doesn't really help me because the Infinity sizing is not the same as Pulp City sizing for bases, from what I can see.
Yeah.
And they're not round lift bases, they're straight beveled edge. So.
And most of them are a bit too high tech anyway.
Yeah. Well, you can maybe get away with that in a superheroes game.
Yeah.
They do have guys flying around in battle suits and stuff, so. But still, yeah, I agree. The aesthetic wasn't quite right. So I wanted just something that was simple, that I could add extra details to later. So I made a bunch of sidewalk bases, essentially with different amounts of sidewalk sticking out, corners, and, drains and stuff, and I think they look pretty good. So that's what I did over the weekend. And there seems to be some interest in them, so I'll eventually publish those files somewhere for people to download and print.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what about you? What's up with you?
I didn't do much. I finished the Zoltar box I was doing when we did last recording, the conversion bust. And I finished the box he's gonna go in. It's a simple box and plastic art. I didn't go for the more intricate version that we see people seen in the movie, but the more simple one that is usually seen for other Zoltars in other amusement parks and stuff like that. The sides are more simple. There's no curve to them. No, it's just a box with the straight corners. So that's what I did. It's gonna be it's a base in the end. So that's a lot of work for something that's just gonna be a base. So it's better if it's simpler, I think. So it's all done. It's all sculpted, all scratch built for the box. It's already, and it's ready to go. I also did my press mold for the base for the hexagon pattern. So it's all the pieces are ready. I just forgot to prime them.
Whoops.
Yeah, I had no time. Busy weekend, and tonight the bedtime went longer than I planned. So.
Oh, you and me both.
Yeah, stuff happens.
You and me both.
The only other thing I did a bit of cleaning on models. I've started cleaning some of my Relic Knight Doctrine models. Cleaned 4 or 5, something like that.
I think you may have started that last episode.
I don't think I've done cleaning during the episode.
Didn't you start doing something on one of them because you finished what you were working on? I might be mistaken. Maybe it was just another night of hobby.
I think maybe it was an hobby night, or maybe I was just going through the boxes before the episode.
Could be.
I don't remember.
I may have been drunk last 3 times we've spoken. So.
Yeah, so I started that. It's
I'm
not
going to shake
enough
my
yet
paint
to
away
play.
from the mic. Sorry. I just realized I was shaking paint into the mic. That's going to be fun to edit out later, if I remember.
I don't think you will.
I won't. I know I won't. There's no point even saying that. Sorry, what were you saying, Antoine?
Yeah, I wasn't sure how much I had of the doctrine because it's stuff I bought. I bought used, I bought surplus from people, and at least now I've checked my collection and I have enough. It's a lot of small pieces. They're not going to be. It's not the same kind of faction that I have from Shattered Sword, so it's a lot of not tough models. And they all don't cost mini points, so it's going to be a lot of squishy models, I think. That means also more painting, so
yeah.
I don't know how that will go.
Oh, I just found a painted base. It was hiding in my little tray of frequently used paints that I seem to keep coming back to. And I found a completely painted base for my blacksmiths.
Oh.
Which I didn't know was in there. Yeah, I gotta finish painting my Relic Knight stuff too.
Yeah,
it's mostly done. I think I just have bases to paint, to be honest.
That would be good.
Maybe a couple details, at least for... I'm not saying it's a functional force or anything, but I've got painted models.
That's enough to play. Speaking of play, any game this week?
Nope.
No, nothing. Oh,
not a thing. I had no free time. It was, as a parent, you understand. It was one of those weekends where the kids had far too many activities, and there's only one of me. And on top of it all, my wife had a bunch of stuff she wanted to do because it was Comic-Con this weekend, so she was off Comic-Conning.
Yeah.
Which meant I was on daddy duty all weekend, which is fine. But, my daughter had 3 birthday parties this weekend.
That's rough.
So, yeah, it kept me busy. And, last night was my first night kind of off. And I lay down to watch something in bed. And I fell asleep so fast that I don't remember falling asleep. All I know is I woke up this morning, 10 hours later. And all my stuff was picked up, and I don't remember doing it. My wife says she didn't do it, so I'm guessing I must have woken up and, taken off my glasses and put my iPad away or whatever. But I have no recollection of it. So, yeah. I may have been tired.
Me.
I cannot confirm or deny that, though.
Yeah, I didn't do much hobby, but I was able to get a couple of games. That's probably why I didn't do more hobby this week. Only so much time. If I'm gaming, I'm not painting. So I got a game of Relic Knight in with our buddy Daniel.
Did you win?
Yes, I did.
All right. I think actually, yeah. So it must have been on a hobby night we were talking, because you mentioned that you were going to try to build your other force because you thought maybe your force was not a good match for Daniel's stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
or rather, it's maybe too good a match.
Yet to win against my paladins, so we'll see. A different completely different style of gaming. The pairing might be better. It's not like I completely annihilate him. There's still a game, but especially this week he tried a new Relic Knight, a new knight, Marie-Claude, and either she didn't click for him, or he didn't have the good selection of models, but his game went poorly.
I didn't know she was a knight. She's a questing knight, I guess?
Yeah, she's a questing knight.
Huh.
Yeah, for Cersei. Speed circuits.
I wonder if... Do I have... No, I have pirates.
You have pirates and Black Diamond.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it just didn't work for him. So, the paladin took the game. But the game is fun. It's so active, stuff moves on the table so fast. Nothing is set in that game until the end. So.
Well, it sounds like Pulp City.
Yeah, with faster moving models, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true. Pulp City, you're not speeding anywhere in the game.
Oh, no. Yeah. And Pulp City, that was my second game. Played a game of Pulp City with Yom over the weekend, too.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Yep. Got a game, 8 points in. Kind of a refresher for him. The only game he ever played, a game with regular models, was the demo he got at Captain Con the last time we went. And we played a game with the monster rules, but he was playing the monster, so he wasn't playing the regular rules last time.
Right.
So, I gave him a refresher using my arcs against mostly nature in the Heroes team.
Oh, he was playing Heroes?
Yep.
I would have thought he was playing his Jade Cult.
Yeah, they're not all assembled, not all on bases, so it was more complicated. And I had the models around with the cards already out, so it was easier to pick.
This is true.
And they did the quick work of my monkeys.
So they do better than the Russians, you mean?
Oh, yeah. It was not a big contest. Like most of the game we've played, we went to the end of the game.
Every game we've gone to turn 4.
Yeah. That one we called before that.
Yeah, I've never successfully beaten the monkeys.
I was not rolling well, but it wasn't that bad. However, I lost all the ties. So the pairing was not good. Every time there was a tie, it was not in my favor. So either Yum was always getting the tiebreaker, or he was the defender in the case of a tie. So the defender wins for a straight tie based on the origins. So everything I tried just failed, and he killed my bigger model first. So I had probably too much support models, or models that don't do a lot of work. More control piece or scenario pieces. And I lost my 2 bigger monkeys first, and it showed in the end I wasn't able to do damage or control the zone. So
who did you lose first then? 8-Bot and Silver Ranger or something?
No.
Oh, 8 points. You wouldn't have 8-Bot.
No, it was Guerrillas and Silver Rangers that I lost first.
Yeah, that was my next guess.
Yeah. Guerrilla was able to do some damage, but Silver Ranger died before even throwing a single trash can. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough.
Maybe Holmes is better at playing this game than I am.
Maybe. He had the dice on his side. I think it only took 2 attacks to take Silver Ranger down.
Wow.
Yeah, and 10 life points, only 2 attacks. That's rough. I didn't expect him to go down that fast.
I mean, to be honest, you've done that to me before, right? With the gorilla and stuff, throwing a truck at me.
Yeah, there was not so many dice when he did the attack. He was just more successful. Yeah, when I do that to you, I roll like a dozen dice to be able to just do those 5 damage. Yom didn't have to throw dozens of dice to do that.
Well, sometimes it just happens. Huh?
Yeah, but that nature team really has a lot of synergy. I've not played them. I just started picking the models to play them based on team, and they do work together really well. You had the Solar, the regular version, the level 2 version, not the leader. Riposte, and a bunch of other models, but Riposte and Solar both have aura buffs. So it makes for while they go up the field, it makes for a bunker that buffs both attack and defense pools.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good.
They work really well together if you're able to keep them close. Every turn, you add +2 defense and +2 attacks all the time. If not more. One turn you went to 3-3. So.
Yeah, I can see where that would cause you problems.
Yeah, and I think most of these guys had slightly better stats. And when you add more dice, usually my monkeys do well because they can throw so many dice that they're gonna get a bit more sixes and compensate for their lower stats overall. But it didn't pan out this time. So, yeah. Monkey went back home with their tail between their legs.
Well, it's petty of me, but I'm glad you lost. I'm not kidding.
I'm happy. It made Yom want to paint his Jade Cult even more. So.
Oh, you let him win. I see.
No. I didn't even have to try to let him win.
Yom made me laugh this weekend when he saw the pictures of the bases I'd done, and he was like, "I regret buying my bases now." It's high praise. I don't think Dragonforged has anything to fear.
No, it's just nobody does that style.
It's kind of funny, eh?
Well,
I understand why too. There's not a whole heck of a lot of demand out there for that, right? So.
No, I don't think so.
Batman?
But Batman come with pretextured bases.
Yeah, that's true.
Or at least the old models I have did.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too. I thought of that on the weekend. They had some of them did. Yeah, not all of my models did. Some of them.
Those could use urban bases. Apart from that, everything else I can think of that would like urban bases is mostly modern historical, and I don't think any of those work on 30 round lipped.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, there's stuff like, but it's smaller in D. Like, do you really want a line of base just for Wild in the Streets?
No, for sure. Like, I understand why no one makes it.
But it could be worthwhile for all those smaller indie games that do need that kind of bases. Like Pulp City, Batman, Wild in the Streets, it could add up. But, like, would people even buy them? Because those are also pretty simple designs.
Absolutely. That's why I could do them.
Like you did them 3D, but I've done 3 or 4 of those bases. You had the city bases with just some putty and plastic art.
Yeah, no, it was just the simple fact that a lot of people have access to 3D printers now.
Yeah.
So it was time-saving and cheap, right? So, because, like, even I could make those in plastic art and putty.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm not much of, a sculptor or hobbyist in that fashion. But the truth of the matter is, do I want to spend the time waiting for stuff to dry? And like, I'm impatient. So I 3D print it, I've got it, and it's done, right? And I'm probably not the only guy like that, so. Yeah. So those will be, like I said, those will be available eventually for download. I don't know where I'll put them yet, probably on Thingiverse. But. You know what's funny? Is, I don't really consider myself a creator of any kind, but the couple projects I have done, and one of them I sold a few of, my tournament tray or whatever, I've never posted files online for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know there's people out there who will... Because I've seen these people at cons take my design that's free, print it, slap it on a base, cast them, and sell them.
Yeah.
And the thought of someone doing that with my stuff that I wanted to give out there for free irritates me. Like, greatly. And I know the argument, I can hear it already in my head. I'm not charging for the design, I'm charging for the time and the materials. Yeah. But if you didn't have the design, you wouldn't be able to charge anything. So. And that is why we can't have nice things, people. This is that time where I was really wishing I hadn't moved all my paints to a different room.
Missing some stuff?
Yeah, I really want my blue liner, but I don't have it. I guess I could grab some blue paint behind me. grab some P3 Exile Blue, because I don't know what I'm doing at this point, but he's getting painted. He ain't pretty, but he's getting painted.
It's already that. Better painted than gray. So.
Well, he was already not gray, he was black primed.
Yeah, that's not better.
Well, that's debatable. Yeah, I don't know if this is really working. Maybe I want black paint. I'll ask you, Antoine. We could be doing a topic here, but instead I'll ask you a question about painting. So, my Ace of Wraith is, he's got like a body armor, right?
Yep.
Underneath his trench coat. And the body armor is it's one of the new P3 colors. I think it's called like denim, blue denim or something. Gravedigger denim. So it's kind of like a bluish gray.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a dark Space Wolf gray?
Not really. Maybe, kind of, not really.
No,
Space Wolf gray is kind of like baby blue looking, so I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. But I'm trying to think of a way to line it. And I was going to use a really dark blue, but I find it doesn't show, so I guess I could just use black.
Yeah, probably. If it's already dark.
We'll do that. Throw some black here on the palette. Alright. Before I started talking about the bases and whatever and stuff, what were we talking about? We were talking about Pulp City and Yom playing, huh?
Yeah. But that was it. We played a game. It was fun. Yoms want to paint this stuff so he can play more. So that's about it.
So mission accomplished.
Yep.
You were such a pusher.
If only we could get more of the locals who have the game to just come out and play. Eventually, with all the battle reports we post and all the pictures and progress.
You think someone will cave?
Yeah, I wish.
I mean, there's Mark Carroll, right?
No, he doesn't have his stuff anymore.
Oh, he sold it?
Yep.
Did he sell it to you?
Nope.
What? There was someone else buying Pulp City stuff?
Yeah, but I don't know who he sold it to.
That's just weird.
Might not have been local.
That's true. That's true. It seems odd, because,
there are other players, but...
That's the rumor.
Yeah.
You keep promising me other players.
We've played with at least one
I
other, so...
Don't worry, Paul. It'll be fine. All kinds of people play this game.
No, I'm pretty sure what I said was all kind of people have stuff for this game.
I know. But I like making you look like the villain. I can't always paint Yoam as the villain, you know?
Yeah.
People get bored of that. So sometimes it's just gonna be you, Antoine.
In worst case, we'll just play together. That's why we bought so much stuff, to be able to switch armies.
Yep. Variety. Spice of life, Antoine.
Yep.
Spice of life. Alright. I'm getting super focused on my painting and not paying attention. We're supposed to have a topic, right? I think we're talking about, how do we display our miniatures?
Or how do we store our miniatures?
Right, store, not display.
Yeah. Well, display is a part of it.
Yeah.
So that's the big question. Like, when you're not using your miniatures, what do you do with them? Do you display them? Do you store them? How do you do it? It's going to be more of a opinion and history piece than just a list of stuff. It's what we do, I think.
Yeah.
And we might mention other options, but...
That's a tough one.
It won't be exhaustive, I think.
Well, like for myself, I have 8 million storage cases, but I don't use them to actually store my miniatures in most of the time. There are a few armies that are in cases, like my War Machine mercenary army is currently in the battle foam bag, where I put it a year ago, and I haven't taken it out since, actually. I do have a bunch of other cases, but they're just piled up in a corner empty, for the most part. I'm sure there's a couple of odds and ends in there, like old Blood Bowl teams or whatever, but I found that having stuff in my army cases isn't very practical for finding it. because I have too many army cases that look the same.
Mm-hmm.
And because I play so many different games and I mix and match what goes in the case when I go to certain places, I didn't want to mark the outside of the case, you know. Like, you know, I dubbed the 40k case or whatever.
Yeah.
So realistically, what I have is a bunch of battle foam trays on shelves for assembled and painted or quasi-painted stuff. I also have let me count. 4 IKEA Ditolfs, which I store stuff in. That's mostly supposed to be for painted stuff, but I do have unpainted and assembled things. Then I have plastic shoe boxes that I buy at the dollar store. And I probably have 25 of those filled with miniatures. Unpainted stuff, obviously, so it won't get chipped. And then I've got a couple big, flat Rubbermaid bins for Warhammer Fantasy armies, where the models are in movement trays in the bottom of the bins.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's about it. I have not really come up with an ideal storage solution for anything, sadly. What about you, Antoine?
It's a mix, like you do. I have an assortment of carry cases, all different. So, just bought at different periods. So, like some of the old Sables, like a couple of the different Game Workshop ones, 2 or 3 of the cool mini ones, the smaller one, the carry-on formats.
That's actually a really nice case.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah,
I've borrowed that one from you before.
Yeah, it's
a great size.
Compact, but it packs a ton of stuff. When I prepared to go to Adepticon earlier this year, I had minis for 6 games in one case.
I believe it.
Yeah, 6 games. Like, I didn't have choice. I had a single list or maybe a couple extra models, but that's what I wanted to play. I didn't go for a full tournament, or I didn't play a really high number of model games either. I wasn't bringing a single case of that for a 2,000 points 40k army. It was mostly skirmish games, but still, I was able to fit a Relic Knight army, a couple of Guild Ball teams, my Pulp City, an Aerial, Arena Rex, and something else that I don't remember. All that in a single bag. And that's a small bag. It fits the carry-on size for a plane, so that's really cool.
Yeah, that bag is tiny.
Yeah.
It's almost like, lunchbox size, like big lunchbox.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, that bag is almost always full for me, with always the same thing. I have my Pulp City, Relic Knight, and Guild Ball in that bag. I have a second bag of that's filled with my pigs for War Machine. Or part of my pigs, because they don't all fit into
I was going to say
one of those bags. The rest, a bit like Lou, I have a Detolf case. I also have another wooden
display case, yeah.
Armoire?
Cabinet,
yeah.
Yeah.
With windows and there's a light in it. I never plugged it, but there's a light coming in. And it got glass windows with glass shelves, so it was left here when we bought the house, left by the previous owner, and it was in the right room to use for us. That's where I wanted to have my gaming room anyway, so it just stayed there.
Worked out well.
Yeah. Eventually I want to get maybe a couple more Detolfs or make extra shelves to fill out that back wall to have more storage space. Because right now my stuff is pretty packed. My painting speed upped in the past few years. So the projects are a bit mixed together, jam-packed in the same few shelves I have. But eventually, The rest, like you have those plastic shoebox, like you said, for the fantasy. And I have a ton of stuff that's just in other storage spaces, like I don't have a name, like a writing desk, the one with the sliding door.
A roll top desk, yeah.
Yeah, I have a bunch of miniatures in that, in various states.
Desk or cat bricks, right?
Yeah, that keeps breaking.
Yeah, for the Ditolfs, the problem is they're not very efficient at holding models because of the low number of shelves.
Yeah, the shelves are really spaced out. So they're good if you have really tall stuff. Like, they would be good for knights and stuff like that.
Yeah, Imperial Knights and stuff, yeah.
But for basic infantry, there's a lot of lost space. That's why there was a Kickstarter. I think we mentioned it. For extra shelves. And there's a bunch of tutorials online for that. But when you look at the price, most of the time it's almost, if not cheaper, to almost the same price as just getting an extra case.
Yep.
So.
And I mean, the AK stuff, actually, the Kickstarter failed, but they managed to get them into production anyway, and you can buy them. But yeah, it's basically the price of a Ditolf case to add 4 shelves to an existing Ditolf.
So, and that would be practical. If IKEA sold those extra shelves, like, they can sell the whole case for cheap. So, just having 3 or 4 more of those glasses pane, that's what costs the more. The D-clamp don't cost that much. So, if IKEA could just sell packs of glass sheets for those cases, it would be really, really good for gamers.
Yeah, and it's like you can't just buy one to cut up either, because the case is made of tempered glass, which you can't cut.
So, yeah.
So otherwise, I would buy a Ditolf and cut it up to make new shelves.
Mm-hmm. Because you could buy a Ditolf and cut the side glass panels to make multiple shelves for multiple other cases. But now, if you buy an extra one, you just have 3 shelves that comes in it. So
3 shelves.
It's super wasteful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's just not worth doing.
I don't have one of those, but I see them often, mainly for people who do painting competitions, but the tower case or all those rack case.
Oh, the frontline gaming cases. A case makes one, but the original one was the with the glass
tower
front.
Cases
all the painters use
by
them
Frontline.
Yeah. Yeah,
is
exactly.
it tower cases?
No. Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts.
Table War, yeah.
Table War cases. I don't remember what the exact model of case is. Let me Google foo.
Yeah, tower cases. Yeah.
Are they called tower? Oh, okay. Yeah, alright, my bad. I never heard them called that. I always heard them referred to as Table War cases, and that was it. Never thought there was more to it than
that. They were the first one. There are some other companies who are doing stuff like that now. Those are cool. They're rigid cases with removable front that you can slide magnet trays, and you can either glue tack or magnetize your miniatures to go on those trays. So there's no foam that goes through it, and you can have a see-through front or not, depending on how you want to carry them. So,
I just remember a couple of years ago when there was an Australian company that was doing a Kickstarter for essentially the exact same product, because the Table War cases were too expensive to get to Australia. So they were doing something that would be local to them, and it caused all kinds of a kerfuffle because gamers were outraged that they were copying this product.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the project was on Indiegogo or something.
It's like welcome. Yeah, it's like welcome to the real world, where everyone copies everyone. Innovation isn't what it used to be in this world. Antoine, this is not going the way it was supposed to go.
My mini's 8er, so... I decided to work on Major Luna for Aristea. She's been half-done on my table for a long time, so I thought it was time to finish her so she could go back into the game box.
Yeah,
But I must be honest, after working on Infinity models some months ago for François, working on a model for the same faction, but with the not so sharp plastic detail level, it's a lot less interesting to work on.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
The plastics are nice, but if you compare them to their sister models, the Infinity Metal Miniatures...
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? It's a limitation of the material.
Oh, no, absolutely. I really like their models, but they do sell metal versions for collectors, and if I wanted to paint the metal nice, I would go that way.
Yeah,
there is a collector version of the base box too, that you can buy with the 8 regular heroes in metal. Yeah, I almost went for that one idea. When I got the base game. But there's a drastic difference in price. And I also don't know the availability of it compared to the generics on sale plastic version. So
I'll be honest, when I bought you that copy of Aristea,
I don't think it's in. Yeah, I think it's available, but just from Corvus Belli, maybe. Might not be in distribution. So.
Could be.
I don't know.
Because I believe I got you the Aristea in exchange for services rendered, right?
I don't remember for what. But.
Well, I think there was a laundry list of, you've done all these things for me, so here, have an Aristea that you wanted. I think it was something like that.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. I think that laundry list was Union models and the mercenary Ashlyn Dilly's limited edition.
Oh yes, that could very well be. Those are all things you did give me and help me out with. Well, whatever it was, you deserved it, so I was happy to do it.
Have you painted Ashlyn? I don't remember. Oh, okay.
No, I have not. I could not decide what I wanted to put in that theme with her, so she did not get painted. And then I kind of stopped playing War Machine too, so that didn't help. Not that I'm giving up on the game. I plan to go back to it at some point, play somewhere. But right now, it's tough to get motivated when you know new stuff is coming and they're changing a bunch of things. And
also, interest for specific games wax and wanes. Yeah.
Well, it's cyclical, right? Whatever Antoine's playing that month is what I'm playing. And then Antoine messages the Steve Guild Ball group, find out if anyone else wants to play these games with him that aren't Guild Ball. Steve cries a little bit inside, but politely accepts the fact that Antoine is sniping his players. And no, it's nothing like that at all, I'm sure.
They're loyal. I almost never get an answer, so he's fine.
Yeah. However, it is kind of fun to imagine it like that.
Yeah.
The evil Antoine stealing all the fun.
No, I want to create new fun. Different fun.
I'm going to say that sounds like something an evil person would say. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying you're evil necessarily. I'm just saying that's the type of logic.
I have an evil rhetoric. Sure.
I'm not saying anything.
Well, you just said it.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying anything except for what I've already said. Yeah. You understand.
Speaking of saying stuff, do you have any more talk about that topic, or should we go with the couple of news items I spotted this week?
Well, Yeah, I don't know. Like, miniature storage is tough, right? I think because there's so many sizes, shapes, and whatever, and most of us play so many damn games, it's just hard to store. And I don't think there's a perfect solution, to be honest.
There's one thing I forget. I think Guillaume already talked about that in a previous show. But he and I both have done custom foam cases. Like, you can get sheet foam, either for the meb or for furniture and stuff like
furniture
that.
For like,
or even for camping. And if you have the right size box, you can just cut it to your house, the downsize you want. Like, I was, for a while, a member of a meat delivery service, like a frozen meat, on a regular schedule. And the box are about 2 inches tight, 2 inches and a half high. And they have just a perfect size to fit on shelves. So what I've done is bought a camping foam mattress, a 1-inch thick, and you just cut it out to the size of the box, two sheet of it, and you have a foam case, cheap foam case that fits and that stacks easy because they all have the same size. At one point, I had, I think, 8 or 10 of those custom-made cases. And to prevent stuff from sliding, I just cut 1/2 inch deep lines in it and slide the bases in it and lay the models on their back with the bases going into that kind of trench. Yeah, the slot.
The slot,
and it works super well. And I had to pay, I think, $10 for that camping mat. And that filled all the 8 to 10 bases. And the box I had already because of the service. So, and any box could fit. You could do that with shoe boxes, so you can fit maybe 2 or 3 stacked high instead of just one, or almost any kind of boxes. So that's a cheap cheap version. If you have a like large army games and like plastic miniatures that don't rattle too much. That's perfect. That my 40K was in those boxes when I moved. I was moving so many miniatures that there was no way they would fit into the few carrying keys I have. So that was a good solution.
Yeah, it's just thinking of like the new GW cases and how they're kind of terrible for metal miniatures because everything slaps around on them.
Like the wavy foam ones?
Yeah. Like, I like the concept because they can hold a ton of stuff. But I have not found a way to use them in such ways to not mangle everything.
It moves too much, right? For models that are heavy, like it's pretty perfect for plastic, right?
Well, yeah, because plastic models, even if they touch each other, it doesn't really matter, right?
And being lighter, they probably don't move as much in the case.
Exactly, yeah. It's problematic.
Yeah, for metal models, either the magnetized trays or the individual slotted foam, I think, are the better options.
Yeah. But magnetized trays, I mean, there's limits to what you can do with that too, because models will slide around on there.
It depends if you have a fixed format, because what I did for mine, I had toolboxes, and I did MDF that I cut holes with the emporte-pièces hole saws for the size of the models. So I just made
like a key, right?
A key that I put in the bottom, and there were holes for all the models so that they wouldn't slide down, but they were held by the magnets. They just didn't move into the toolboxes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Another type of case, we don't really see it here because they're not as easy to procure or as cheap, but that's often mentioned when we hear US gamers, are the gun cases.
Yeah, well, our buddy Ben, you said used a gun case to carry around his 40 Army years and years ago. I wouldn't really advise it nowadays, though. It's not only do people look at you funny, you're likely to have someone call the police on you.
Yeah, yes.
Here, anyway.
But if it's like a regular site where you are, that's a good option. And from what I remember, they were pretty affordable.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially now, you can buy them on Amazon and stuff, or AliExpress.
And they come with eggshell foam, I think, which is pretty good for miniatures.
Yeah, you can even buy a bunch of knockoff Pelican cases and stuff on AliExpress for reasonable prices. Well, what do you know, Ace of Wraiths? You're looking okay-ish. Well, I won't say he's looking good, because that'd be a lie, but he's looking less bad than I expected. All right, how are we doing here? Look at it. We're at an hour.
We're just going to talk fast about those two news items. First one, Mantic Games. They have gotten a new model for the Trident Realms for Kings of War. Yeah, that's the water people. This is a Riverguard Dambuster. It's a little frogman riding a giant toad. It's a cool model. It's super. It looks like a ninja toad, a ninja frog on a giant spiked toad, leaping with
it kind of looks ninja-y.
The sword sticking out, and it looks cool. I like more and more of the Mantic models. Yeah.
Well, that's because they're getting better.
A lot of their models for the skirmish version of Kings of War, Vanguard. The Vanguard Kickstarter had really cool model. So, yeah, this is their latest model. It's, it was on the page is just not up to date. It starts shipping today. So it marks pre-order, but it's starting shipping now, in theory. So by the time of release of this show, it should be even available right away. And it's £15 for a giant toad ridden by its small cousin Betrician.
Seems like a good deal.
Other thing I wanted to mention is by Bombshell Miniatures. They have a couple of their KritterKins, new KritterKins available. Lyca the Fox and Rapscallion the Rogue Raccoon. I just like their style. I always like anthropomorphical cartoon animals. I sculpt them, so I can't not like what other people's do, especially when they're cool.
Yeah. Especially when they're cool.
I like Lyca with her really nice. Morning Star. she's
bigger than her head. Yes.
Super cute, almost cuddly, and she has a giant Morning Star by her feet. Like, that looks dangerous. Yeah, probably. And Rapscallion is cool too. Yeah, is a small, roguey little knife. Some nondescript clothing with a hood in his back, so pretty cool models. Both of them are $10 US, and they come in resin on regular 30mm bases, round lip bases. So we were talking bases earlier. That's the same kind. And they are both available right now.
Sculpted by Patrick Keith?
Sculpted by Patrick Keith.
Yep. Well, it's his company along with Vicky, and they're awesome people, so people should support them. That is my professional opinion. They took me for a fantastic barbecue at Hutchins Barbecue when I was down in Texas last time, a couple years ago. So people should buy their stuff to reward them for treating me to such... treating me. I paid for my own barbecue, but I mean, they took me to the place, and it was amazing. And without them, I never would have experienced the joy of the Texas Twinkie. Which isn't a dessert at all.
And with that name, is it the 16?
Let's see if I get.
No, neither.
No. No, it's like a cream cheese stuffed jalapeno that's wrapped in bacon and deep fried.
Okay, kind of a extreme poppers. Okay.
Yes. It was amazing.
Yeah, just the
amazing.
description makes me water my mouth, so salivates, yeah.
Yeah, salivate? Yeah.
So that's it. Our 2 new releases. Get new stuff, more middles to paint. Like our friend podcast says, paint all the minis.
Yes, you must paint all of the minis.
Yeah, Dan Adams and his amazing interview show.
In a while.
Every time I think about it, I start singing the theme song. So I'm refraining myself from singing right now, but I have the tune in my head. So
the what song? The what song? I'm not asking you to sing it. I'm just asking
their theme song.
What you called it.
They have a custom theme song that was recorded by one of their contributors, and it's super catchy. So,
that was after I stopped listening. I haven't listened in a long time.
So if you like to hear, it's an interview podcast. We already mentioned them, but it's been a while, and they interview people from all over the miniature hobby realms. They interview designer, painters, they interview gamers, people like you and us that play games and like them.
Well, they interviewed Antoine. What episode were you on?
I don't remember. It's a while.
You suck at
I
this,
wasn't playing myself, I was playing them. It's our show. Why should I plug myself?
Never turned down the opportunity.
I do
to plug
remember
yourself,
talking about Toll City with them, so.
They had a crazy rambling episode with James Waffle.
Like any episode with James of any podcast.
That's something we still haven't done. He keeps threatening to come on here. And then we end up talking about something else and that never happens.
Yeah. So that's it.
All right.
If you don't know the show, we'll have a link in the show notes for Paint All the Minis. Or just search Paint All the Mini Podcasts. You'll be able to find it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. Yeah, they're not really
their own network. They have a website now. They have a YouTube channel and more contributors. So they are doing a lot of stuff now. They're getting bigger.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
Good for them. Good for them. All right. Oh, Ace of Wraiths, where is your face? I don't think he has a face, Antoine. I thought he may have a face, but as I paint it now, I'm seeing a lack of face. Oh well. This and more next week. Anyway, I'll let you go, Antoine. We've rambled enough. Thanks as always. I'll see you next week.
Yep, and bye, geeks.
Thanks for listening to Geeks of the North. If you want to contact us, you can email us at geeksofthenorth@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/geeksofthenorth, or follow us on Twitter at Geeks of the North. You can follow me, Paul, at PRFilio, Antoine at Eltonio Berg, Steve at B_Steve, and if you really feel the need, I guess you can follow Yom. He's at Yomasta. Breaks and outro music by Ladrave. You can listen to them at ladrave.bandcamp.com. See you next time, geeks.
Thank you for checking out a United Geeks Network family member. If you enjoyed it and are looking for other online media with a geek culture slant, head over to UnitedGeeksNetwork.com, where you will find All Us Geeks, a podcast that discusses board games, movies, television, comics, Kickstarter, and many other forms of geek culture. The United Geeks Network. You can broadcast your geekiness at UnitedGeeksNetwork.com.